it's
Wow, have a good one. Have a
it's
great
not
class.
pizza oriented. Pizza is like the test case. All right, learn to code. Learn to code. We're in learn to code now. Woohoo! All right.
Wow.
Um, let's set all this stuff to work. Let's make sure. Let's see if so I'm also streaming from YouTube. It might be easier to view me there. I'm going to screen share here in just a moment. Um, share screen.
Log
Uh,
off real quick. What's your YouTube link? I want to grab it before I head out.
yeah. So here is the link to the YouTube streaming. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. It is always so hard to. All right, share. Cool. There we go. And I'll open that. Throw it in the Learn to Code channel, and I will also throw it in the chat here. Uh, and then entire screen, screen one. Cool. Awesome. Can we see the screen here? Can we see the screen on YouTube? Is my voice coming through? Can you hear me? Yes? Good. Sweet. Okay.
I'm gonna head out. Peace.
Yeah, later.
Streaming
Um,
on YouTube. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, yeah, today we're going to be building for the actual application. We're going to be building a ranked choice voting application together, right? Um, so we had a test poll that was loaded with six options, and then you guys filled in some options. Somebody so it's pizza toppings, right? That's simple enough. We understand what pizza toppings are: pepperoni, Hawaiian, meat lovers, black olives, mushrooms, cheese, pineapple, sausage. Somebody added jalapeno and bacon. That's kind of cool. Somebody added seven as a pizza topping. I don't know what that means, but that's cool. So we go and vote. I would say number one. I'm like the most basic pizza person. I just love a pepperoni pizza. I could skip if I don't want to vote for everything. It's ranked choice voting, or I could just keep on filling out my ranks. I like this jalapeno and bacon option. Um, then next, I probably would go for something like mushrooms, black olives, meat lovers, uh, pineapple. We'll throw seven in there, and sausage maybe. Uh, Last would be cheese. I don't care for cheese. We'll update ranking, and uh, that's where my vote just went. Oh, each device can only make one vote. You could have done some crazy stuff with VPNs or going into incognito mode. If you hacked the ranked choice voting application for pizza, congratulations. That's really awesome work. You killed democracy, and we love you for it. But then I'm going to go to my admin page. I'm the admin of the vote. So I am the vote counter. You have to go through me, right? I'm going to close the poll. Polls are closed. You can't vote anymore. All right? So whatever votes you voted for is what's happening. And we will look at our favorite pizza topping. The winner by a landslide is jalapeno and bacon. After 9 rounds, this is ranked choice, right? 9 rounds. That means there needed to be like multiple eliminations. I guess people love jalapeno and bacon pizza. This is a unique, a very nuanced winner for the pizza topping. But yeah, there was, we had this simple ranked choice voting situation. Students and teachers and all sorts of people rushed to the polls. There was 5 ballots. There is 10 options, um, and uh, we voted, and our choice was heard. Right. So just close the pizza poll. We see that jalapeno and bacon won, but but how did it win, right? And we see here in round one that pineapple actually had the most first choice votes. Weird. So uh, how did that not win? How does ranked choice voting work? Why is this a solid kind of brain dump place to learn how to code? I think it's a great use case for teaching some solid Python functionality because there is a level of complexity to it that, regardless of the simplicity of asking what your favorite pizza topping is, we can actually like dive into some pretty fancy code for it, right? And so what I wanted to do with this application as well is sort of a meta application, not like a Zuckerberg meta application, a meta application for the Learn to Code class, wherein we will make a ranked choice poll to vote on this week's project, right? What we should build as a Learn to Code class. And so what we're going to be working on in this class is the ranked choice application to vote on what we are going to be working on. And then that will vote on what we're going to be working on, and that will vote on what we're going. No, we're not going to build another ranked choice voting application. You got to think of cool ideas for what we should build as a class, and it can be anything. This poll will be open until tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we will start working on the application that we chose to work on together as a Learn to Code class. If you are tuning in live from YouTube, you have a choice too, right? Your voice matters. If you're tuning in not live, but you are tuning in before February 10th at 10 a.m., you have a choice too, and your voice matters. If you're tuning in after February 10th at 10:01 a.m. Pacific time, sorry about you. We already decided what we're going to be working on this week, but you get to work on it with us, so that's cool, I guess. And we all get to work on it together. That's not to say you all have your personal projects. You're all working on, yeah, where do I submit my bribes? Where do you submit your bribes? Right here. All right. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. I will also post links to all of my crypto wallets. Um, uh, I prefer Fartcoin. If you have a Fartcoin address, I'll put it. It'll appear under my name in a cool marquee. We're still working on OBS overlays, but anyways, cool. So, uh, no, there's no bribing. This is fair. This is democracy. This is how it's supposed to be done. Uh, anyways, so we're all working on a project together. That's what I want to get us into the sort of rhythm of, right? We work on a project together. We use the project as a way for us to learn how to code. But more importantly than learning how to code, like the idea that I want to get through to this group of people, whether you show up for the Learn to Code classes in the Multiverse Campus live, or you're watching the YouTubes and following along, is that devs who work together to ship things get things done, right? Focusing on execution, 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 the right kind of execution, executing code, right? Um, uh, and I think that it's something that slips our brain a lot when we're learning to code. I feel like all these boot camps, all these like hacker rank sites, they'll have you do like coding exercises until the cows come home, right? Um, how many like reversed linear linked lists do you need to do before you have an application? Um, a lot, because that's not an application, just reversing a linear linked list. It might make you look good during a code review or whiteboard if you can quickly do something like that, but essentially it's like a Rubik's Cube of coding. Um, and yeah, I guess you can learn to code through doing these sorts of coding games, right? Um, but why not build the game itself, right? Why not build the application itself? Um, like all these sites, HackerRank or there's a bunch of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Those are actually applications that host those coding games, and then they have leaderboards associated with them. That would be a perfectly great application for us to build in our Learn to Code week together. And we're gonna do this weekly. We're gonna ship every 4 days. Is it intense? Is it crunchy? Yeah, yeah, it is. But guess what? It's 2026, and we have access to a little thing called artificial intelligence that really speeds up the process. And we're not going to be just building slop applications. We're going to like definitely try to pivot ourselves, put up guardrails as humans, as creatives against the sort of um, you know the pitfalls of using AI to code, which we talked about last week. You got this like weird open claw Moltbook a dystopian apocalypse situation brewing. Um, we're going to do it in a way that's secure. We're going to learn how to, work on a project in GitHub using Git for version control. We're going to learn how to work together as a team. But again, building things that people actually use at the end of the day, not just little toys for your portfolio, but real projects, right? And this is the difference between what we're going to be trying to do here through these Learn to Code classes, and your favorite coding tutorials on YouTube, right? Real projects get shipped. Tutorials don't always get shipped, right? So again, we gotta like kind of expand our brains and realize we're having like kind of two tracks of Learn to Code running at the same time, right? We're having the group project, which in this week will be whatever wins the ranked choice vote by tomorrow morning, right? We'll build it together as a team, regardless of where you're at in your coding journey, right? Whether you're starting Learn to Code from a beginner mindset, and whether you're experienced and skilled and you've built tons of applications, if you're somewhere in between, right? We're all building this thing together. So that's one track, is the group project. The second track is the personal project, right? I want y'all to be founders. I want y'all to have applications that you can kind of put your fingerprints all over and be like, this is the thing that I made. This is who I am. This is what I learned to build and then built, right? So think about the application that you want to build, your own app that you can chip away at in your own time. This is yours. This is at your pace. It's your idea. It's your code. If you finish it in a week when we finish our group project, that's great. If it takes you months to build, that's cool too. Good things take time sometimes, and having this like this project that's in the back of your mind while you're learning to code, that you're working away on at the same pace as the group project, is awesome. We have a little chat in the box. Start an AI chess tutor project during the Agentic SDLC class. So for those of you tuning in to the YouTube stream, Liz the developer, um, uh, our fearless leader of the multiverse school teaches an agentic SDLC class at the beginning of the month. So last one was this past Friday. Um, Gets you up and running with Claude Code as almost like a pair programmer to really quickly put out an application. And this SDLC, so well, I forget what SDLC stands for. Software Development Pipeline. So, what's the LC stand for? We'll figure it out. But the agentic SDLC class is super helpful for looking at the sort of power of agents, agentic sort of workflows, while you keep your mind on sort of like providing structure to the application that you're building, um, and putting an emphasis on clarity and technical specifications. Because just having an idea for an application is one thing. I feel like somewhere where we kind of go wrong with the whole like vibe coding thing is soft. All right, SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. I just remembered it. Software Development Lifecycle. But back to the point I was making, somewhere that I see a lot of people go wrong with vibe coding beyond like security vulnerabilities and all that stuff is there's this common pitfall of forgetting that you're communicating with an LLM. This is a large language model, right? It's you have to like input and output matters. Transmission and reception with the agents matters, right? So if you have a big idea that you don't really know like what the user stories are for the application. You don't know what the roadmap is for building the application. And you look at AI as like the end all be all of how to get that answer out of you, you have just offloaded the creative part, the like interesting part, the cool part, in my opinion, of like building an application to the AI, right? And as somebody who uses just so many vague, subjective, abstract language when I'm like trying to explain anything, I had a real hard time with building vibe coded projects because sometimes I don't know what I'm trying to build. And I was looking for answers from the AI. And if you don't know what you're trying to build, like that's the first problem that you probably should figure out before going to the AI to ask what it should build for you. Because uh, this whole issue of like generative AI and AI slop, that is because people are like, I have this drive to be creative, but I don't know what I want to create. It's like you need to be like, come on, organic intelligence it up. Like, offer it a little human creativity because uh, I'm starting to see this sort of like UI UX slop of vibe coding. There's a very specific UI, and you can see it in the code behind me, right? This is Claude coded, like heavily vibe coded. Um, but there's this like weird like dark mode kind of like it does things very bootstrappy, very like it's giving like 2018. Um, and if you want to build something that looks like you, that feels like you, you're gonna have to like imbibe your own creativity into that process. So I'm not so much on like the AI evangelist side. I'm also not on like the complete like uh, burn it all down, never use it side. It's controversial, right? I do know that I have built applications with Claude Code and through the the learnings from this agentic SDLC class with Liz, um, that would have taken me months to build. Specific, like threading the needle on specific problems I've had building tools that I've had for a year, in the course of an afternoon, which makes you feel equal parts productive and futile at the same time. And that's kind of that's what coding feels like. I mean, how many times, I don't know like what y'all's experience with code is, but have you ever had that feeling before of just like, I've spent like a week trying to figure this out and I finally figured it out, and then maybe you like go outside, um, have a cigarette if you smoke, walk your dog if you have a dog, and you're just like looking out at the night sky, and like you're like, all right, I spent a week trying to figure this thing out, and the information was in front of me the entire time. Should I be stoked? Should I be happy? Should I feel like an idiot? Is anyone going to be affected by the fact that I just figured out this personal conundrum? Like, will people know the torment that I felt getting to this point? Um, and without having an existential crisis about it, um, yeah, all those things. All those things, right? All of those things and more. And that is it's relatable, right? It's relatable. It's the life of being a coder. It's learning to code, and it's learning yourself and your energy and your archetype as a coder, right? And that can be dynamic too. Maybe one day you wake up feeling more like you're gonna script some tools, and you're going to hyper focus on automation within your project. And the next day you wake up and you're like, I don't even need these tools that I spent all of yesterday scripting. Um, and that's why coming to these learn to code classes and sharing the sort of issues that you're having with your personal projects, working on the group projects, and seeing some of the communal issues that we're having with the group project is a good way to have to experience these problems in a sandbox where you're not, the stakes are low. Like, oh, we don't ship the project at the end of the week. We're not, it's not our survival that's on the line, right? It's not other people's money. It's not, like a situation in which like we're being held to, right? But sharing those emotional energies, those uh, creative ups and downs, learning to code is learning your art practice. Um, it is learning to meditate. It is learning about yourself. It's a moment of self development, right? So I really want these classes, these learn to code classes, to start feeling less like lessons, right? They're gonna start feeling less and less like lessons and more like this like sort of daily dev log where we show up, we check in on each other's projects, we check in on the group project, and we ship progress, right? And this is how real teams work with each other. Um, Stand ups, right? Uh, we have our morning stand up, we have our job stand up. Now we have our learn to code stand up. We're standing up, we're doing our stand ups, we're shipping, we're iterating, and we're learning the workflow of working on a group project. And the group project's going to get us comfortable working on a team and shipping something that's real. Uh, the personal project, that's for you. That's for you to decide. That's where you go deep on what interests you. Both of them matter. Both of them matter, right? Um, so what's this voting application, and what's the problem with voting? Has anyone in the class heard of something called the spoiler effect? The spoiler effect. Um, go to this. All right. Problem with normal voting. It's this little thing called spoiler effect, right? Um, so, in a normal election with 5 candidates, someone can win with just 21% of the vote, right? 5 candidates, somebody wins with 21% of the vote. How does that happen, right? 79% of the people who voted didn't want that single person as the winner. That is the spoiler effect in action, right? Um, because similar candidates do this thing of like splitting their supporters' votes. Uh, and without getting like too political, we're talking about voting, so it's like, how do you not get political with this stuff? Um, it's the kind of thing that people were like, it's why people get pissed when during primaries you're like trying to put up two candidates that are similar. It's why people got like pissed at people for voting for Bernie Sanders in the primaries in like 2016, 2020, you know? And it's like, come on. Don't get pissed at people for that. Get pissed at the system, right? And it generates infighting too. People are like, "Oh, like you should have been Clinton all the way. You should have been Kamala all the way." It's like, no, the system's broken. It's broken. It's super broken, right? Where did they do ranked choice voting? I think they did it in the New York election, right? They did it in the mayoral election. And what did we see happen with that, right? Beautiful stuff. And that's why ranked choice is cool. So the 2000 U.S. election, what was it, Nader, Gore, Bush, right? That was another like kind of spoiler effect situation. People getting pissed at people for voting for Jill Stein in 2016, even though she put out that super awesome, that really cool track from the '90s. Sounds like Alanis Morissette or something. Give it a listen. Jill Stein. Actually, don't. But so, what if your vote, ranked choice voting, what if your vote could have a backup plan, right? That's how ranked choice voting works. It's kind of like the problem statement of ranked choice voting work. Um, so, how does ranked choice voting fix this, right? It's 4 steps, right? Uh, count, check, eliminate, and redistribute, right? So we count the first choices. Everyone's number one pick is getting counted. Someone has more than 50% of number one picks, that they'll win immediately, right? That's like if there even if there's two people, like it's like, well, I mean, ranked choice with two people doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. Number two, eliminate the loser, right? The option with the fewest first choice votes is eliminated. Um, it can still be a good idea. It's okay if somebody's idea was 7 and it didn't get chosen as a pizza topping, right? But sometimes the losers need to be eliminated, right? Um, and then we redistribute the votes. Anyone whose number one was eliminated now has their number two pick count instead, right? Their vote isn't wasted, right? It goes to number two. Your number one gets eliminated. That's okay. You got your backup vote with your number two. That's why we have the number two. And we're going to do this with our projects, right? So if you feel like, oh, I really wanted to work on the snake game, whatever that is, right? I think it's just like, I really wanted to work on the snake game. No one voted for the snake game. It got eliminated. Your number two's still there, buddy. Um, we keep eliminating, and we keep redistributing until someone crosses that 50% threshold, right? So it's a loop, really, in code, right? It's a function that runs in a loop, and that loop is running these 4 steps: counting, checking, eliminating, redistributing. We go to round 2, counting, checking, eliminating, redistributing. We go to round 3, counting, checking, eliminating, redistributing. We go to round 4. The pizza, the pizza vote had 9 rounds in it, 9 rounds for us to decide on what our favorite pizza topping is, and that means that it's a controversial vote, right? But jalapeno and bacon won. So when we end up having the multiverse meetup and I order a jalapeno and bacon pizza, it better be gone. It better be gone. And I don't want any ifs, ands, or buts from anyone because that's a weird topping to choose as your number one. Anyways, so let's walk through what those rounds actually look like with kind of another kind of test application. This time it'll be based off of like project ideas. I want us to start thinking about the projects that we're going to post for the Learn to Code group project, right? Because y'all can make suggestions that will appear on the live poll that will close tomorrow. So uh, we'll walk through. We got 10 voters and 4 options, right? So imagine for a second, if you will, we had 4 ideas for different projects. We got a snake game. We have a chat app. We have a simple weather application. And then we have a simple to-do application, which if you've ever been to a Learn to Code class or boot camp or whatever, you know what a to-do application is. It's a to-do list. It's the most boring thing ever. All these ideas suck, in my opinion. But they're sample ideas. And no idea is a bad idea. No idea sucks. So don't quote me on that. It's not, no one's going to quote me on that, right? These ideas are great ideas. Um, so round one, we count through our choices, right? We count through the first choices. What was everybody's number one, right? Snake Game got 4 votes. Chat app got 3 votes. Weather app got 2 votes. And To Do app got 1 vote. Oh, To Do app, the worst. Got the fewest, right? To Do app gets eliminated. Popped off, right? Um, it gets popped off the list of votes, right? We needed 6 votes in number one to win. Um, so if you think about this, this is like uh, if everyone had like 3 slots to vote for, it's like 3 by 4, 12, right? So 6 out of 12 is like getting above 50% on that ranked choice. Uh, anyways, super difficult math to wrap my head around. Round two, we redistribute the votes, right? So that one to do voter's number two, the person who like was like, I really want to build a to do app. I just really want to build it. Their number two was the chat app. So that gets treated as their number one in this next round, right? Right? And so uh, chat app gets +1 on this redistribution. So we have 4 for the snake game, uh, as we had last time. Chat app gets 4. Weather is still at 2. No, nobody wants a weather application. Come on, you just open up your phone and it's right there. What was the name of that weather app that ended up getting bought by Apple? It's called like Dark Rain or something. It was
Sky.
Dark Sky. It was the best. It was the best weather app. And then it just got nerfed completely by iOS. They bought it and said that they were going to use it in their like in the iOS weather application. They didn't use it in their iOS weather application. They just bought it so that they could suppress um, a good weather application from existing. Big weather, man. Hate it. And that's what Apple does. That's what Apple does. Um, yeah, exactly. Like iOS weather, I hate, but iOS bought Dark Sky, so it's um, like I can you still get Dark Sky? Is it still an application? I no, exactly right. We're We're anti iOS weather. But anyways, weather app gets eliminated round two. We're not talking about the weather app anymore. Um, 11:59 after the acquisition. So yeah, it was brutal. I was like, there was a moment where I was like, why is my weather app not? Yeah. Anyways, um, God, I miss Dark Sky. Round three, final redistribution. Right, weather apps out of there. The next active pick is the chat app. So everyone who had chat app as number two, number three, whatever. Uh, so chat app six, Snake Game four, right? Notice that Snake Game actually had the most first choice votes, but the chat app was the most broadly acceptable. People were putting it in their number two, people were putting it in their number three. And that's the power of ranked choice voting. It finds the most broadly acceptable candidate, right? So it's not this like plurality popularity contest, right? So yeah, in this idea of ranked choicing, when would this matter in real life, right? Um, when a group needs to come to a decision together, right? In any situation, right? We don't want this situation of spoilage where the spoiler effect, where 79% of the people don't want the winner that gets put up. And this happens when you have more than two candidates, when you have um, five candidates for something. There is a situation in which 21% of the people want the person who gets voted in, and you're leaving 79% of people stranded with a choice that they don't believe in, right? And so this gives us back our agency in deciding what group project we want to work together on. Because something else it does that I think is interesting in these situations where we need to come to a decision as a group is it makes you think about all of the options. Like I think we do this thing when you're voting for one person that's kind of binary in that like in kind of like the way that we've been introduced to voting on stuff. You're like, oh, I know that that's my pick, everything else doesn't matter. But when you get into a ranked choice voting situation, the system itself encourages you to think about the other candidates, right? Um, and realize, oh yeah, like chat app, I would rather do that than the weather app. And I know for a fact I would rather do the weather app than the to do app. Everything has merits. It also gives you kind of a backup. Like maybe you actually really want to do the chat app, but you know that Snake Game is like better for your learn to code journey or whatever. Um, and so the algorithm that our ranked choice voting system is hinged on is this pseudocode right here, right? We set up a Python function that is the ranked choice vote. It takes in ballots. We set active candidates to the candidates that are there. And then it's a while loop that counts the first choice votes, right? That are set up in a list. And then for ballot in ballots is a for loop within a while loop, right? And it checks for the first active, right? Which is going to be the first candidate in the ballot that's still active. And then counts everyone's number one and adds that to a running total with a threshold that is checking for the amount of totals that are being called. Another for loop, which then checks if the counts for that candidate are more than the threshold that was just set. And in that case, the while loop ends because we found our winner. Um, so if there isn't a winner, we're still in the while loop. The loser is going to be the candidate that has the minimum counts added to their tally, and then we're going to pop that loser off the list. We're going to remove the loser from the list of active candidates, and then those votes will automatically redistribute, and we perform that loop iteration again. That's a while loop, right? You set a condition. Um, you set a condition, and then until that condition's met, the loop runs, right? The power of while loops in the voting process, right? Um, we already went over this why RCV matters stuff. So let's look again at our results for the pizza. The pizza, the pizza's fresh out of the oven. And now that we have this like understanding of ranked choice voting, we can look at this with fresh eyes, right? Jalapeno and bacon after 9 freaking rounds. What? Why? Why so many rounds? That's crazy. So controversial. And why jalapeno and bacon? Y'all are freaks. Sorry, and apologies. I'm not sick anymore, so I'm like we're gonna do this learn to code class the way that it's all always should have been done, right? Um, so uh, who got eliminated first? You know, where did their votes go, right? Ham and pineapple. Sorry about you. Meat lovers, black olives, mushrooms, sausage, and seven. Dang, it goes without saying, right? That those that got zero votes at number one in such a tight race are probably going to get popped off, right? So Hawaiian ham and pineapple got eliminated this first round, and then the second round, meat lovers got eliminated, and then the third round, black olives got eliminated. All right, uh, and then mushrooms got eliminated. The fewest votes, they get redistributed. Now we're seeing pineapples kind of in the lead. What's going on here, right? Um, Sausage gets eliminated. Votes get redistributed. And finally, seven has to go, right? We lose seven. That gets redistributed. Now we're seeing some interesting things starting to happen. Pepperoni gets eliminated. Cheese gets eliminated. And all of a sudden, jalapeno and bacon and pineapple are like on the same level with each other. And then once cheese got eliminated, jalapeno and bacon won with the majority when pineapple had the lead the entire time, right? So the data structure that's holding all of this is it's a list, right? It's a list of lists. So it's a list of active candidates and a list of people's votes, right? Ballots, right? And the loop condition that we're iterating through is that no one has more than 50% of the votes, right? So do this ranked choice voting loop while no one has more than 50% of the votes. So how do we find the loser, right? We're looking at the minimum amount of counted votes, counted number ones for the round that we're doing, right? And so if you're still like I don't understand how this code works. This is confusing as heck. So this is a little site I like to use called Python Tutor for walking through code. And if you want an even more confusing diagram of how this code works, here it is for you, right? Um, but we'll walk through it kind of one by one with each other. So here is sort of the simple rank choice voting, right? We have our candidates set up here: Snake Game, Chat App, Weather App, To Do App, right? And then we're hard coding our ballots in for the sake of this walkthrough. So we're setting a list of lists that is the ballots, right? So a list of ballots, and then within those ballots is the list of ranks that hold slotted positions for what rank they are. So if it's in the 0th position, that's your rank number 1. If it's in the first position, that's your rank number 2. If it's in the second position, that's your rank number 3, right? So we limited this simple one to 3 positions, but the pizza vote, you could vote for all of the, however many suggestions there were, you could fill your rank in for. You could also skip, right? So that's a little bit more complex, but that's what we're going to be using to choose what project we're going to start working on tomorrow, right? Um, and so uh, we have sort of this candidates list, and then we have the list of lists, which is the ballots. Which, if we were building the application, we would basically make a form for people to enter those rankings into. We copy the ballots so that we can modify them, right? So this live ballots equal list B for B in ballots. Everyone starts as active, right? All candidates have the potential to win this thing, right? Round number equals 0. So then while true, this is our while loop, round num plus equals 1. This sets up the loop to iterate through round numbers. So we set this round number outside of the while loop, and then we start the while loop. While true, round num plus equals 1. That's how we start counting. All right, round num 0, round num 1, round num 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, right? We're going through the different rounds. And so we count the first choice votes. We set up that list of lists, right? For C inactive, counts C equals 0. This is like, and we're going to present to the beginner of beginners of code, right? Things start at 0 with code. The first spot in a list is 0. The first spot in an array is 0. Why? I don't know. Probably for some mathematical reason that someone here could explain, but I don't know. Things start at 0 though. So a lot of the times when you see plus equals 1, um, or more than equals 1, you're working with a code that starts at 0. We need to know what like an empty set looks like. We need to know what's in that first spot, which is actually the 0th position, right? I see somebody typing. I've frustrated the mathematicians in the audience. I'm sorry. I'm not a math person. Sue me, right? What? We got to bog ourselves down with math now? I thought we were learning to code. I didn't know we were learning linear algebra up in here. Anyways, so uh, the everyone starts as active. We're going through our while loop. We're counting the first choice votes. We're skipping the eliminated candidates at the front of the ballot, right? And then we count this ballot's first active choice. All right, we got an answer from the audience. Computers count in binary. That's why we start with 0. 0, 0, 0 is 0, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 is 0. Whatever. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. 0 is the first number because it's the smallest number you can write using only ones and zeros. Wonderful. Beautiful. Great. Binary. Math. Anyways, so We count the ballot's first active choices, and we're checking for wait, where did I go? If ballot, if ballot 0 + 1. We're checking if it's more than 50% here. This is that total //2 +1 math, right? And then we print the round out. This is just going to provide to the user. We check for a winner. We eliminate the candidate with the fewest votes. If there's a tie for last, right, we eliminate the first one alphabetically. This is just an edge case that this silly little app made for itself. You can figure out how to work through these edge cases in a more complex ranked choice voting platform. If this were used for an actual election, if our pizza ranked choice voting application was used for an actual election, everyone would be screwed, right? We don't want to use this thing in actual, but it's low stakes. Again, this is a sandbox, baby. We're learning to code. Not, we're not going to use this thing for anything that actually matters. It's for pizza, for pizza toppings. Eliminate the candidate with the fewest votes. Next round, their voters' ballots automatically shift their next vote. We get this like redistribution process, right? This is what I love about this site, pythontutor.com. If you are learning to code, or if you just like having like sort of a visualization of the data as it's coming out, if you have like a simple function that you want to walk through, there's some things that it gets kind of like clunky with, like you can't put in more complicated data structures. But this pythontutor.com is just educational tool. I love it. Yeah, there's no rounding for this one. So it's like you have to think of the candidates as integers, right? So it's like they apply to the like percentage of votes. There can't be like a half vote, right? It would get more complex if you wanted it to be like if you wanted to like apply like float math to the actual math of your ranked choice voting. But it's like kind of when we work with integers in this way, we it's like there's certain things that they just they're whole numbers, right? You can't have half a human, um, you can't have half a vote, right? So it's like we're going through the ballots like without yeah I feel free to audit this code, but also know that I yeah, audit it. Have fun with it. There's so many things wrong with it. This isn't the code that's in the ranked choice voting for what we're gonna choose our project from. This is like more just a example code that's really easy to kind of like walk through. Um, so uh, because the difference. Oh yeah, no, that's a great point. So slash and slash slash, right? So yeah, there's it's the difference between uh sort of dividing something like just like taking the actual like literal answer of a division, or dividing and then rounding down. Um, and that would be different than using a modulo. That would be different than like multiplying by a percentage. There's like different like ways to do seemingly similar math problems in code. In Python specifically, this is like a little bit of syntactic sugar to like immediately round down. You could also then apply like you could do slash and then round or average. There's other ways to do this. But the important thing of this is that we're working with like whole numbers and that that you could get AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting with math. And if you understand how to code and if you know how the math works, then you can kind of like audit it yourself. And sometimes, like I have noticed that like in these situations, like Claude does sometimes make mathematical errors. Like you do kind of need to check up on Claude or Chat GPT. It's the three R's in our two R's in strawberry dilemma, right? How is the math being served? Like through tokens, right? Um, and through language. And there's certain things that depending on the input, depending on the prompt, depending on the seed, depending on how it's answering the question, it might just totally botch your math, right? So um, when it's important, when it has to do with money, when it has to do with people's survival, audit your vibe code. Maybe don't even vibe code it. Like that's like basically what it comes down to, you know? Like really like look at the math of what you're doing. Um no, I'm so sorry. This is like uh uh some of it's good advice and then some of it is life advice from actual mistakes that made in my life that I don't want people to make the same mistakes twice. This is preventative wisdom, okay? Here you have this example of a person. Uh, I don't see them as failures, right? I'm just trying to move fast and break things. Um, Cool. So yeah, Python tutor will get you through um, basically what's happening here. So here we see the list of lists that's being developed each round, and then let's move forward. So now the rounds are getting applied, and then at the final round, we're left with a dictionary, which is a set of the winning votes, right? Um, and this is pythontutor.com. There's also Java Tutor, C Tutor, C++ Tutor, and JavaScript Tutor. Great resource. You can put simple functions into the IDE situation here, and then when you run them, it walks you through step by step. The more like complex the code you're doing gets, the less this becomes a useful tool. But for the sake of this like ranked choice voting um, uh, example, I made like a very simplified uh, chunk of what is the actual code. So let's see if I can. I'm gonna pull up the actual code we're using for the ranked choice voting. And yeah, if you want to hack it and figure out how to get your group project to win, I implore you to figure out how to do that. Because that's cool too. So so this is rcv.py. And so we're doing things similarly to the Python implementation in Python Tutor, we're setting up data classes. This is something you can't do in Python Tutor. We're setting up data classes as the main data structure, right? Yeah, if it happens too many times, we can always just parlay this into an intro to cybersecurity class. Although um, I mean, don't let the record show this, but like, I should not be the one teaching a cybersecurity class. I'm not the person for it. I am not. I am not. Okay. Data class structures. So we set up these classes again, lists of lists of lists of lists, right? And then we're running this Python function. Um, it's still pretty syntactically short and sweet. Um, I think yeah, we get the full function in under 80 lines for something like a complicated ranked choice voting system. That's cool. This site, I'll post this to the Learn to Code chat so you guys can look through the RCV dot py, but this what we worked on today isn't going to be up as a GitHub repo because we're hosting it live and storing the data so that we can figure out what we want to work on as a group project, right? So here we have this splash page for the vote, right? And I will link all of you to it. And again, that link will be in the Matrix chat as well. If you're watching this on the YouTube, then make sure you check the Matrix Learn to Code room or go to this link right here. And if you're watching it after 10 a.m. on February 10th, the vote has ended. Um, but I'm going to make a new poll for y'all. And we're going to call this week of February, February um, group project. What the heck should we work on this week? Week of February 9th, because that's what it's the week of. What the heck should we work on? And suggestions will close. So we can make suggestions up to a certain point. I set a limit for that. Depending on when people watch this, I think I'm going to close suggestions at 8 p.m. tonight. So get your suggestions in. Think about things that would be cool for group projects. They could be like if you have a personal project that maybe you want like extra sets of eyes on, throw it in here, you know? We could work on your personal project as the group project. Uh, you could work on the group project as your personal project. By all means, make a better version of whatever it is, right? The poll closes tomorrow at 10 a.m. right before class, right? Um, so make sure you get your votes in. Everything is Pacific time, right? So do the complicated time zone math to figure that out. So we'll create this poll, and then we'll go back to the voting page. We go suggest some ideas for group projects. Does anybody have an idea of a group project they want to do? It can be built in any language. It could be any framework. It could be anything. Sometimes having such like a wide window of what to work on can be a little a little hard. Um, I okay. I've wanted for a while to set up a streaming tool that works while I am on runs that I can actively stream from my phone to OBS on my computer, so I have like it working like on OBS, um, and like I'm also like pinging my phone, and so the camera's coming up through OBS. So maybe a mobile OBS tool that would be like a Python script or something we built together for streaming on the go. Uh, obviously there's like already Twitch solutions for this, but I'd want it to be something that I can that I could use on my own, right? Would this be better as a personal project? Probably, but we're gonna be working on stuff together anyway. So, um, uh, and feel free to describe, like, if the title alone doesn't give enough oomph to your project, feel free to like post longer descriptions in the learn to code chat. And again, that is where you can make your bribes. Again, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, and crypto are accepted. Um, just kidding. Just kidding. We're not. I'm not. I'm not taking bribes. Okay. For streaming on the go. What else? It's a bunch of things that can be worked on. Mm, why am I blanking on stuff right now? Anyways, anybody have idea for apps they want to build? I am double fisting. I have coffee, coffee, and uh, this is like a turmeric seltzer situation. It's like I take a LaCroix and then turmeric, carrot, um, turmeric, carrot, cayenne, something else. It wakes me up and it makes me feel good so that I can teach these classes. Um, so cool. All right, a relationship app. I want to make money. Um, wonderful. Yeah. Um, relationship application. IDK for money, maybe. Um, yeah. Ooh, custom. Oh, we got one that loaded in already. Custom YouTube, Reddit, Facebook algorithm. Re-rank autoplay suggestions to show the good stuff first. Love it. Um, yeah, these are great ideas. I watched something on brain rot recently. Uh, there's not enough testing on this stuff, and honestly, like a lot of the uh, the stats that we have for brain rot are spurious, right? There's this like bunk article that got put out that everybody like latches onto about humans having less of a uh, like attention span than a goldfish now because of TikTok. But the one issue with that is we haven't actually ever measured goldfish attention spans reliably. So we need to measure a goldfish's attention span before we just demerit them. Anyways, for researchers, if you're gonna measure something, if you're looking for a project, measure a goldfish's attention span. But I was watching this thing on brain rot, and so they did all these studies on how short form scrolling feeds affect our attention span and our ability to answer to like like our short term memory. And people were given tasks, like slightly complicated tasks, where like they had to kind of sort things in the right boxes, um, and then if they ever saw like uh, certain colors like red, blue, or green, they had to like press specific buttons. Um, cool, awesome, I love it. And it are people who were like they were given things to do between memorizing the buttons for the colors and they were given like things to do, like either they would be scrolling through Twitter or scrolling through TikTok. There was a control group that didn't do anything, There was another TikTok group that was only given 10 scrolls. And then there was another TikTok group that was they couldn't they couldn't choose when to scroll. They had to watch like the same stream of videos without like access to scrolling. And what they found was it wasn't the short form content. It wasn't Twitter uh, uh, that was affecting this sort of like brain rot attention span. It was the ability to swipe through videos infinitely whenever you want. The group that only had 10 scrolls, they did better than the infinite scroll group on TikTok, and the group that couldn't scroll at all and had to watch every video, they did as well on the test as if as the control group that didn't watch any scrolling video. So the whole brain rot thing, I think, has more to do with our fucking sorry our boredom, right? Like, we're given so much access, we can scroll through everything. Just watch a video that you don't want to watch all the way through every once in a while, and that's what's actually good for your brain. I remember being a child and not having anything on, an 8 hour car ride to entertain me except for my mom playing Cheryl Crow and Cat Stevens. And so I would just look at different wood grains on the, car, like interior, and I would like visually hallucinate music videos. It's like, bring back like meditative visual hallucination due to boredom for the children. That's what's gonna fix our brain rot. Anyways, I digress. Come up with ideas for suggestions for the group project that we're going to be working on. Vote on the group project that we're going to be working on. You have until 8 p.m. tonight to get your suggestions in, and then you can get your vote in up to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Both those times are Pacific, and tomorrow is February 10th. So if you're watching this way, way, way in the future, we're on like our fifth or sixth project, and every week we're putting out absolute bangers. So maybe if like a future version of you is watching this, we've already put out an application that has millions of users, and every single person who showed up to a Learn to Code class is a millionaire now. And that's a guarantee, right? No, it's not a guarantee. It's 0% a great guarantee. This is not legally binding. I love you all. I'm gonna stop